I think Brother Ernie needs a round of applause, doesn't everybody else? I'm just stalling. I think all the other seniors join me in asking that if anybody feels inspired to get up, give a testimony, anything, right now. Now is the time, please. Or even give my speech. I'll give you the card so you can just go off it. But you only have 3 minutes. Just like to say that I'm glad school is over. People say that, life goes by just so quick, and the last 12 years has not gone by quick at all. It seems like it's taken forever, and it's finally over. I'd like to start by thanking Sister Bonnie for setting a foundation and starting out the homeschool. And I don't even know what year she started, but I know it was long before I started school, so that's a long time. It's my first senior speech. I also like to thank Sister Colleen for taking over the marvelous task of the homeschool students. That it's either courage or insanity that lets God that inspires them to take over this task. Whatever it is, I'm thankful that they have it. I'd like to start out by thanking some of my teachers that I've had during the years. Some of them I don't remember everything because I was young, and what do you remember at the age of 5 and 6? For Sister Deanne, we watched Toy Story in her class. I remember more than that, I just choose not to give it. For Sister Teresa, she was an incredible art teacher. She's not here tonight. Her and Brother Brian are out of town. She was an incredible teacher just in the general subjects, but she also taught us art, and I learned a lot from her. Her husband, Brother Brian, he taught me a lot in music. He was my mentor in music. He started me out, and he taught me how to play the saxophone, and I greatly appreciate him for that. He's also a life mentor. If you ever talk to Brian, if you ever hear one of his testimonies or when he gets up to the pulpit, he can speak really intelligent, but then he can also speak to a little child on his level. And that's what I think is incredible about Brian. I'd like to thank Brother Steve Farmer for taking on the challenge of an all-boys class. Some people get gray hair when they get stressed. Brother Steve just lost it. While taking on this all-boys class, he was also a pastor, which I admire him greatly for that, because that's 2 great tasks that he took on at one time. Sister Jan Farmer, she taught me how to write a 4 or 5 page essay and get a good grade on it. I also learned that Sister Jan, she's an awesome grandmother, but grandmothers can also be strict, and they can also discipline. Sister Mosetta, for speaking plainly and telling me how it is, speaking straight. I guess taking on Meade, my brother, Kristen, and Titus, guess Nate just wasn't enough. She had to have somebody else. I'd like to apologize to Sister Debbie for arriving sometimes incredibly early at her house and disturbing her beauty sleep, waking her up in the morning, and also just driving her crazy. I'd like to take this time and thank some of my family members. I'd like to thank my mom. How many moms or how many people do you know that'll change their shift at work to the swing shift, the night shift, just so she can school her kids, and hardly ever see her husband except late at night when she got home from work? She worked from 3 to 12, and sometimes when she got home, my dad would be asleep, and sometimes he wouldn't. But that was a great sacrifice, sacrificing her time with her husband to spend and teach time with her kids, teach school for her kids. My dad, I'm somewhat thankful for his corny sense of humor. I feel it is being passed on to me. I'm trying to avoid it at all costs. I'm thankful for everything that he has taught me. I plan on after school being a mechanic, and he is in the last year. I'd say we've really spent a lot of time together working on my car and getting it running. Well, trying to get it running. I'd like to thank my brother for the stress giver and the stress reliever. I'd like to. He would always know the wrong thing to say, but sometimes he would always know the right thing to say. And even if we didn't have a TV set in our house, we wouldn't need one, because Dustin knows every line from every movie and every TV show and every commercial and every awards show, anything multimedia, he knows. I'd like to thank the only relative that was able to make it from out of state, my grandpa Doug Dirks. He's my dad's father. I really appreciate that he was able to take the time out of his day and out of his week, his life, to come to my graduation. And even though he lives in Oregon and we're not as close as we'd like to be, just because distance, and it's hard to stay as close as it would be to a local relative like a parent or a local grandmother or father. I hope we can become more close in the future, though. My fellow seniors, I thank you guys for being my friends and making a great senior trip, as you'll see in a few minutes. I'd like to thank the chaperones that were also insane for going with us on our senior trip, Joey and Amy Pippin and Chris and Heather Thompson. We had a great time. Couldn't have chose anybody else better for the job. I'd like to thank Josh Turntine. He's been my best friend since I was 5 and asked to sit by him in church. And him being my best friend, he's also helped me to get along more with the older kids. And he's never treated me any different because I was younger. He's made me feel stupid, but not because he was being mean. He just I guess that's what a friend does. I'd like to thank Travis for being the only one that, while taking a drink, making me laugh and making me emerge liquid out of my mouth. He's the only one that can make me do that. I want to thank Dustin because he taught me how to play Go Fish. I'd like to end with these last two quotes. If you could put it up on the screen. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth. I don't want to wait till I'm older. I'll focus on God later. I'll do it when I'm older. I want to focus on Him now and do His will in my life now and not wait till later. Is there any more in that? I think. Okay, yeah, Ecclesiastes 12:10 also. The teacher, Jesus, searched to find just the right words, and what he wrote was upright and true. I want to be the right words that Jesus can write. I want to be those right words, the words that were upright and true. I don't want to fail or any way. I want to be the right words. I'd like to also end with a quote from a book that my Aunt Valita gave me as a graduation present. The author is unknown. Finding your way may be confusing. This quote is to all the students and the seniors and any young person. Finding your way may be confusing at times, but rely on faith and trust God as your guide. Take His hand and let Him lead. He will show you the way. Thank you.